The chair now calls up a new panel. Takesha Kegler, Billy Kimbrough, Patricia Camarillo, Denise Davis. I've called everybody twice, right? I did call Ollie Martin.
That was the second time.
Fine, it's not. Great. We'll start on this end. Hi. With your name, who you represent, your position on the bill. 2 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Takesha Kegler.
And speak up a little bit more, Takesha, if you
Yes,
would.
ma'am. My name is Takesha Kegler. I am against the bill for ESAs. I am from Lufkin, Texas. I've been an educator for over a decade, and I have never done this for the money. I've worked for 7 years as a special education paraprofessional, working with every facet of special needs child that you can imagine. The most money I made was $17,000 with a master's degree in public administration. My job title on paper is teacher, educator, but my real title is defender of children. Cut to 2023, I've been blessed to be offered a position teaching fourth grade science and social studies in Lufkin ISD at Brandon Elementary. This is quite literally my dream day job. I beseech you on behalf of the children who fall through the cracks. I beseech you on behalf of every child. The future of the world is in my classroom every day, and every child that comes into my room every day sees that specific statement outside my door. Myself and another veteran educator who are a dear friend of mine, we have partnered to create a nonprofit organization called Reach One, Teach One to specifically target all children that are hanging on by a thread to an education. A voucher program would make the children that we're trying to help turn to the streets. Young people in my community have been victims of gun violence at an alarming rate. Not to mention, vouchers were introduced as a response to integration, which would lead to more segregation in schools, setting us back to the Jim Crow era. We want the kids in our community to know that no matter where they come from or how much money their families have, they deserve a chance to follow their dreams and be successful and turn away from the streets. I've made it my life's work to fill in those cracks if these children fall through. A voucher program would make those cracks bigger and more children would be ignored. I'm against any voucher program and anything like it. A voucher program would make this job even harder for the teachers that have decided to stay in the profession, even after all the turmoil in the government. I implore you to vote against a voucher program. Stand in the gap with us.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Billy Kimbrough, and I'm against this bill. I'm an educator with Lufkin ISD at Brandon Elementary School. I've been in education for 11 years now. Throughout my career, I've had the privilege to teach children from all walks of life. But I'm especially proud to have done my work with students in a Title I school. Many of those students suffer extreme hardships, and our schools were the only safe place as well as the only opportunity to educate in order to improve their future. The systems I'm referring to would not benefit any vouchers program simply because their families would not be able to afford the extra cost of private schools. Vouchers will reduce funding for our schools that serve so many of our students who would otherwise be left behind and are at higher risk of dropping out of high school and not graduating. I'd also like to point out that with the decrease in public school funding, that the voucher program will create more teachers are likely to leave the profession. We love our students, but as the state argues over vouchers, we are struggling financially. Our paraprofessionals are struggling even more. We cannot afford to lose more highly qualified teachers that are being replaced across the state by uncertified, inexperienced adults. Giving taxpayers funds to provide to private schools rather than providing better funding for public schools will only make our crisis of teacher shortage worse. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I could just make a quick comment.
Yes, Senator Bentoncourt.
That's something that you need to know. The other bill that we talked about yesterday in Senate Finance has that Senator Creighton has a $4 billion teacher pay portion of it. And when we looked over the last biennium, if we add his SB2 from yesterday to what we've already put on the books for this year, that's a 25% increase into public education. So I just wanted to make sure you understand that he is doing everything he can to make sure that we have a strong teacher pay component in another bill as well. So you need to know that that's an over $10 billion increase, and the maximum amount of ESA money here is $500 million. I just want to make sure you knew that. So thank you for your testimony.
Can I comment
Thank
on
you.
that?
It was just a comment. Thank you. And I will say it's an ESA, not a voucher, and the dollars do not come out of the school foundation school program. Ms. Camarillo.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Patricia Camarillo, and I am a paraprofessional for.
Ms. Camarillo, do you mind pulling your mic in? Go ahead,
Yes, ma'am.
restart the clock.
I am a paraprofessional for 13 years with Lufkin ISD. I'm opposed to any voucher bill because they will reduce funding that public schools need. Paraprofessionals like me are often overlooked when people talk about school finance and teachers. But I work closely with the students every day. I work with the students who need extra support, especially ESL students. Sometimes that means helping them take notes and understand the material they are learning in classes. Paraprofessionals like me are an integral part of the schools. I serve a population of students who will be negatively impacted by any voucher program. My students already need an increase in their student allotment. They are already struggling even with our dedicated staff. Most of my students will not be able to use a voucher for a private schools because the tuition is too high. I'm proud of my students because even though the state has not properly funded public schools, they are successful because of the hard work people like myself and teachers do. Vouchers will only decrease my school's funding, which will make it harder than I already is to give them the resources and staff they need to become successful citizens of our great state. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Camarillo. Denise?
My name's Denise Davis, and I've been teaching for over 25 years. I'm from Lufkin ISD, and this is a rural community school, very conservative. A lot of the people that I talk to that align with conservative values, which is normally the people that I'm hearing thinking that that's who wants the vouchers. Those are not the people that you think they are. They tell me that they do not want vouchers because they want their students, if they pull them to put them into a private school, they want them to be taught those values, and they don't want any kind of strings attached. And they're worried that if public funding goes towards private schools, that it's going to cause those kinds of issues within the private school. So what I'd like you to do is to please talk to your constituents and really listen to what they're saying, because the rural schools are the cornerstone of culture and resources for the community. We work with all people. All students come to the public school. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. We love you all, and we want to serve you all. Please allow us to do that by funding us properly instead of trying to create new ways to fund other areas. That is your job. That's what the Constitution of Texas requires. And I really ask that you consider this and take these heartfelt messages and try and work to fund us properly.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Members, any questions?